Hello and welcome. My name is Holly Oxton.
And Chad Oxton.
And today we are going to be talking about the enrollment process, how we went from $6 to seven figures with our empowered client enrollment system. So let me go ahead, jump right in here, share my screen, and let's get started. So how we went from $6 to seven figures with our empowered client enrollment system. So three things that you're going to learn today is one, how to take strangers from cold to enrolled without posting content all day.
How to take potential clients from content to connection to book call.
And how to get your potential clients to sell themselves rather than you having to sell them. So who is this for?
This is for the expert. You are trained, you're confident in the ability of being able to help people.
And you have experience working with people.
You're heart and soul-centered.
And you know that this is a calling for you.
You're willing to do the work to set up systems to work smart.
So that you can go out and you have the fun, you have the profits, you have that monthly reoccurring, and you're really making a difference with clients.
And who is this not for? This is not for somebody that's just about making money and don't care about the client results. You're looking for fast money, you're looking for quick fixes, and you're looking for some sort of super guarantee, like we're going to do it all for you and hold your hand through the whole thing and just like it's going to all be like a snap and it's just going to all be done or something. So if that's not you.
Yeah. I was even going to add, if you're looking for a savior, that would be Jesus.
You're not.
And if you've never helped anyone before, this is probably not for you as well.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the old way versus the new way of enrollment. So the old way, and maybe you can relate to some of these things, having connection calls and copy chat.
And proving yourself and free breakthrough sessions.
Or being really uncomfortable and like that hard selling.
Getting stuck in the friend zone and having no system to like nurture and build connections and like really attract these clients that you love.
And people just like, oh, I hope that people will reach out to me with asking about my offers.
And then like really having people trying to always sell you in the DMs instead of like asking what you could do for them.
Yeah. So let's talk about this new way. Right, I want to share just real quick how we even got here. We're going to share a little bit of our story intertwined into all of this. I remember a time when I first started online, not to age me or anything, but we both started online back in 2013. And for me, I was always in Messenger. I was like hoping and hunting for clients. I had no systems at the time. And authentically, I couldn't stand it.
Yeah. So I remember fast forwarding to when we started coming together and we are like doing pretty well, closing deals in what it was like a done for you situation. And then we were like, let's go nomadic. And then we completely ran out of money. We ended up living with our accountant and her grandson got moved to the couch. We got moved to his room, stinky 13-year-old bedroom. And I remember us having $6 in our bank account and just being at kind of rock bottom. And it was really we're just hustling and like still looking for clients, like trying to find whatever we could do. And we finally started getting some clients, but then I remember watching you just like start sliding down the wall and just start seizing. And it was a really rough situation. I realized that something needed to change. And so we start taking the money that we made that month, which is like $40,000, like high five, but if you don't have your health,
doesn't even matter.
And we're just like, how do we fix this health thing holistically? And we're working on that. And we're also working on like solving our business. Why isn't this working? Why are we not getting the clients that we want and without burning out? And so we end up going to this event and this guy said something. He said, do what you love in the service of people that love what you do. And that like just changed everything because we were doing everything for everyone. And I remember having two clients there. One was a publicist, great person, but what we realized that she was very out for herself. And then the other person was there as a functional
she was a
neuroperformance coach. It's just very impact driven, very out to change the world. And we're like, we want more of these. And we are really out for transformation. We went through our own transformational journey. We're like, we want to work with coaches that are out to transform the world, that are experts, that are really making a difference. And so we decided to focus there. And
I think one of the things that really started our success, regardless of the health, was really creating genuine connections with people.
Yep.
Right. So what you want to do in this new way is like, how do you build authentic trust so people are willing to open up about what their struggles were? A lot of people saw what we were doing. We were very authentic, but at the same time kept our authority and our leadership and what we were an expert in. And we created our process. So we're going to go a little bit into like this whole model that we created because of this story, right? We're not sharing all of this for nothing. There was something that was birthed out of this that has been absolutely beautiful, right? So the new way is ultimately, it's like having them sell you on why they need your program, not the other way around, right? So when we went to that event, we really discovered who our dream clients were.
Yeah.
And that was one of the biggest things that
we can't book calls with only dream clients if you're not clear on who that dream clients are, right?
Yeah. And it doesn't need to be like, you get a call, you get a call, you get a call, you get a call. Like our time is way too valuable for that. So when you know who your people are, you have the proper positioning so that you are the expert in your industry and you're communicating your process effectively before you ever get on a call with them, then you're only getting on calls with your dream clients.
Yeah. One of the things I really saw in this whole situation was having the system that attract the strangers and brought them in, because we could create systems all day long for our clients, but we didn't have it for ourselves. So I had to, go out there and hunt for clients. Holly had to deliver for clients, and we didn't have the systems in our business.
So we learned the hard way about this entire thing that we're going to show you, and why now it's literally our genius in what we work with people. So let's talk a little bit about how it all began. So you were selling all of the funnels. We had an agency. We were putting systems together for literally everyone. And then we decided like we're really going to plant our flag in the sand and work with coaches. We committed to transformation. We committed to these things. And then something happened.
Yeah, I remember coming in. It was actually my birthday. It was right around this time a year. And I remember coming into the bedroom and Holly was in the middle of a seizure. And if you've never seen a seizure, they're very scary. And I remember watching or like coming in and going, okay, what do I need to do? Dump CBD down her throat, electrolytes, mouth to mouth, whatever we can do to get her to come out of the seizure. She finally comes out and she said something that just completely changed my, like dropped my stomach. And it was, where are we and who are you? And there was literally like, she didn't know who she was. She didn't know she had kids. She didn't know what we did for a living. It was all that. And we could have given up there, but we chose to keep going because you made a post on social media and you're like, if I've ever helped anybody, any of you, could you let me know? And you made this post and we had hundreds of people commenting and you're like, I need to get back into this business.
And I did. And so we went through every client that we had ever worked with the agency, the coaches that just started coming to us. Like when you set that intention of like, this is who I work with, this is my expertise, this is what I'm doing. I don't even set the intention. It's like you make a decision, right? And the difference between a decision and a choice is when you make a decision that something is going to work and this is what you're going to do. It's like you cut off all other options, right? It's more than a choice. We made a decision to dedicate our lives to transformation and to coaches and working with them. So we went through literally every single client that we had ever worked with. And we're like, okay, when they did this happened. When they did this, it didn't happen. They didn't get the results. This is absolutely necessary. And when we were lacking this and the clients didn't get this, then this didn't work, right? It became like that conspiracy theory. We had this huge whiteboard on the side of our room and we're just like writing things down and writing this all out. And ultimately what got birthed from this is what we call the called coach approach. Would you like to see this?
Yeah, let's move it on.
Awesome. So this is just testimony of how our greatest struggles, and this is what I love about coaches, is I'm sure that you're a coach because something happened in your life and you were able to overcome it and you were able to climb up that mountain. And now you have that calling to be able to help others climb up that mountain too. And that's exactly what happened to us as well. So this is the called coach approach. So let's go through all of this. Ultimately, we're going to be talking about the empowered enrollment pathway, but I really want you to get the picture of everything that we do and really what it's going to take to be able to fulfill on your calling online. Right. So it's going to take 3 different areas: attract, enroll, and then the performance behind everything. And ultimately what it is that you want is you have this calling, right? This is a pull in your soul. Like you couldn't put it away if you wanted to. You can stop doing this or there would be something that would just get heavy. And like, there's no, like, this is what you're here for, right? And to have that fulfillment and that fulfilling on your calling, it's really about having the freedom. It's about having the impact in other people's lives and ultimately building that wealth. Mm-hmm. So let's go through the attract. Again, we're going to go through this really quick, just so you get an idea of everything that it is that we do. But I know ultimately you're here for the enrollment. So in order to attract new people online or attract people online, it's going to take the impact marketing system.
Yeah, it's really making them impact through the marketing while you're attracting new people into your world, and then being able to bring them into your movement and your community, and then being able to go from there and then really amplify that visibility and really create systems around getting into more exposure and in front of more people.
And then when we get to the enrollment, what that looks like is we call it the True North program. This is your program that you can impact a large amount of people while leveraging yourself and still having that freedom and building the wealth. It gives you this place that you can scale without burning yourself out. That is one thing that we are anti-burnout because of the story and how like where we had to go was intense burnout. That was ultimately what had happened in my health. And so we are all about like, how can we create something that won't burn people out, that will allow you to scale? It was like a riddle that we were both just determined to solve here, right? Yep. So now that we have done that, we are passing this info and knowledge and wisdom onto you. So the True North program, also having a process, the empowered enrollment pathway. Like, how do you get people? You can attract all the people in the world. You can have the largest audience ever, but if you don't have an enrollment pathway, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, you'll just have a bunch of people liking and engaging and never becoming clients. I mean, a few there, here and there, and then really, it's if you're getting clients and they're not getting amazing results into that client success, then you're not creating the legacy, you're not creating the impact, the lasting impact, and really creating that consistency because that ongoing client.
Then you're not going to impact people. Like, that's what we're here for, is to
exactly
the client success, and more than just client success, but ultimately having a system for your delivery. So it goes back again, your clients are having success and it's not burning you out. So now the performance piece, this is like the breath in between the attract and enrollment. You need this performance piece as you're building your audience, as you're enrolling, as you're fulfilling, as you're delivering. And ultimately, again, we're here to be in our most highest selves so that we can serve from a place of abundance. So that's going to take nervous system regulation. Being able to ultimately expand your capacity is some major nervous system regulation. It's a lot to be a coach sometimes, and to be able to have all of this and hold the space for our clients at the same time.
Yeah, you're expanding your plate, right? Like I have so much on my plate. Let's make the plate bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. And we use a process called cellular alignment. Now, within every single cell within in your body, it holds stories and memories. There's been scientific research. We're not going to go through all the scientific research on this particular training, but there are scientific research that shows that the memory is stored within the cells of our body, which can do two things: either drive us forward to what it is that we want, or to hold us back from the things that we want, right? And this goes deeper than just the subconscious. You hear a lot in the coaching world around our subconscious and our thoughts and our unconscious. This is literally being able to reprogram your entire body at a cellular level to be able to get the results that you want, and also to remove any resistance that's blocking you from getting those results. And then the energetics, right? Everything is energy. More science. We're a little bit of like, you got to bring in the science. And I'm showing you that everything is energy, and how you move, the thoughts that you have, the energy behind everything that you do will determine the results that you get, right? So being very mindful of the energetics, have tools to be able to shift the energetics within your body and within your field to be able to really shift into the being that you're called to be, right? You ever heard that saying is you don't have the results that you want in your life because you're not the person that you need to be yet, right? So what this performance piece is in its entirety is ultimately shifting you to be that person you need to be, to fulfill on that calling, to have that freedom, to have that impact, and to build the wealth that you were here for.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get into the empowered enrollment system. Number one, how to take strangers from cold to enrolled without having to post the content all day.
And if you can catch the misspells, comment them below. So you can have the process that will build this authority, build this deep rapport, and really show you how to get the results for your clients. And your content is really important because it's going to allow you to create this focused, strategic process. And then ultimately, this starts from your cold audience, and then really being able to attract your first people into your world.
So we're not saying that you don't post content, because content is super important, right? You just want that content to be focused and strategic so that when you're posting it, it's doing what it needs to do, right? And ultimately, we'll talk a little bit about having your cold people, meaning the people who don't know who you are, and moving them into your warm audience and start building your audience at a larger scale. So from there, what you want to do is create a system that invites them into some sort of community. Ultimately, I feel like building a Facebook group is the old way, but creating a movement, this is the new way. People are looking to be a part of something. It's a natural human nature to want to be a part of something bigger than yourself. So you get to be the movement maker, and you get to create a movement for your people that is bigger than yourself, that is stepping them into not your mission, but a greater mission together, right? This is where you start building the credibility, the authority, the social proof, the likability, and you show people that you can really help them because you are the facilitator and the leader of this movement.
And so one of the ways that you can do this is start by creating monthly workshops, live trainings, master classes. These are going to really show the pathway on how to get the results that your clients want to get out of your program.
Mm-hmm. And also create long form YouTube videos. Like, posts are great. Having a community is great. Doing these master classes are great. And you also don't want to get stuck in the, like, I have to do master classes all the time in order to get new clients. Mm-hmm. And long form YouTube videos can be a great way to nurture that audience and really show authority. And it doesn't take where you're posting, like, I have to post three to 5 times on a platform, right? So when you're making these videos, you want to speak to their dreams, you want to speak to their aspirations, the frustrations, their desires, all of it. I am not a pain only marketing, but I'm also not an airy fairy marketing. You get to really know who your clients are and speak holistically to them, and create your content to handle those limiting beliefs and also the objections your ideal clients have, right? When you can handle these objections and beliefs within your content in these long form videos, then you don't have to sell them into anything, and you don't have to cover, like, the objections are already covered in the call.
Yep. So people showed up already ready to buy.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I like to call it as unspoken truths, and I want you to speak on this a little bit too. But when you can speak into the unspoken truths, this is where you go soul to soul of your client, right? Mm-hmm. The things that they have never told anyone, right? Like in leadership, the loneliness of leadership, of what it's like to be able to get to the top, and how you feel like nobody understands because you always have to lead everybody else. Mm-hmm. That you're always, have your mind working and it goes nonstop sometimes, and being able to shut down can be really challenging because your mission is huge and you're holding it for everybody as the strong one. So speak those unspoken truths. It's so necessary to know who your client is and to speak directly into those truths. So that way, literally, people are like, oh my gosh, yeah, they know.
And you're going to really show your process of how you actually take people from where they are to where they want to be, and like show that process so then they can get a very clear, like, wow, okay, that's how it happens.
So I'll give you an example, we'll just be super upfront. We want you to be able to do this. You saw our model and how that whole process looks. So you get to create, something that is going to really showcase the process that helps the people get the results that they want.
And you're going to really put in a strong call to action to have a deeper conversation with you. So you're going to want to, in all of your content, you're going to want to include a strong call to action so that have a deeper conversation with you. Create this conversation to be more question oriented and really listen and recreate what they're going through. Let them sell themselves on why they need you.
Absolutely. So the sales process is not asking them, like selling them. It's ultimately asking questions, being able to recreate and hearing what they have to say. And by doing so, you're a mirror back to them so that they can sell themselves on why they need you. So what you get to look at here is what lights you up, right? What kind of movement can you create that your ideal clients want to be a part of? And do you want to do long form YouTube videos, masterclasses, workshops? How often do you want to do them? And there's no right or wrong here. We are huge on alignment and what's right for you, because if it doesn't light you up, if it's not fun for you, it's not sustainable for you. And we are building long-term sustainable businesses.
So we want to talk about Marissa. So Marissa was a health coach, and she was doing about $2K a month when she came into our program, and we worked with her. And I remember she really hated marketing. She didn't want anything to do with it. She didn't want to.
I just coach people? I hate doing all of this.
Yeah. Until Holly helped her really kind of reframe this from we're building a group to like get clients, because she's already had a group and she's already getting a bunch of people into it, but she just didn't like the process. But when she reframed from this is a group to this is a movement.
So ultimately what we did is, she had a gut health group. Cool. And what we did is we're like, okay, cool and all. And what lights you up? And we created a movement of women who were a stand for their health so they could be the best possible people that they could be and have the energy for their families.
Mm-hmm.
You feel a difference in that, right? We talk about the energetics, like here's a gut health group. You can learn about gut health. Wah, wah.
Yeah.
Like we are a movement of women who are stand for our health to have incredible energy and be the best people we can be for our families. It shifted the way that she showed up. It shifted her master classes. It shifted her content. It shifted her entire way of being. Marissa has gone on and she does consistent 5-figure months now in her health coaching. So high five, Marissa. I freaking love you. Always will. And I'm just excited about her movement and what she's really a stand for in the world and the results that she's had with so many women. So let's talk about how to take potential clients from content to connection to book call. Chad, you are so good at this.
Now, if you don't have a process to bring people from content to conversations, and you're just going to have a bunch of dopamine hits from your engagement and not actually make the impact that you're here for and the impact that you're really, or income that you're really wanting to make. And so it's really about creating prompts in all of your content. There's now, these prompts are called call to actions, and maybe you've seen people do them. Some are good, some are not. But there's really two types of call to actions. There's a hard call to action, and then there's transitional call to actions. Now, the difference is hard call to action is like buy my program, or as I would like it, hey, because I just want them to say, I want support with that. If you tell me I want support with that, then I can go from there and we can have a conversation and see if it's a good fit. Now, a transitional call to action looks like this. It looks like, hey, I have a guide, the 17 steps on how to, do this, this, and this. And if you want it, comment guide and I'll shoot it over. Now that builds rapport and it also gets you in a conversation with them. So those are really powerful. So some people are really, they're not ready to marry you, in the sense of getting support, and they just need a couple more dates. And so that's why you use a transitional CTA to really be able to create that relationship.
So mix them up, like have the hard call to actions for the people who are ready and have the transitional call to actions so that people can date you a little bit longer.
Yep. So from there, it's about creating qualifying questions that will also bring connection and clarity for your potential client. It helps you see if you can help them, right? Because it's like, you don't want to be jumping on calls with everyone. And it's really about really connecting and actually caring if you can help, because if you can't help, then there's no point on moving forward. And if you can, it's going to actually set up the call way more powerfully.
And what I love that you do about this is a lot of times, people are like, oh, but I do qualify people. And they just ask them some random questions. But what I love about your process and how you've set this up is it really is a system. It's like, what the questions are. They're the same questions. They're very strategic questions that you ask that gets the right kind of information, and not just like, oh yeah, I ask them questions before we talk. So I hear that a lot, but I love how it's like it literally is a process that you
when you get it down, you could wake up in the middle of the night and go, okay, move them to the next step and then go back to bed.
Yeah.
So,
and doing this in the way that you've set it up, because Chad is literally, like, I will say, he is freaking master at this. We were just talking and doing the math the other day, and this isn't girl math. This is like math. Like how many conversations you've had and brought them over is well over 10,000, right? And so when you have the process and you write and you ask the right qualifying questions, it helps that person have clarity, and it helps them know that you care and that they're heard, right? Like, oh, you saw my offer, here, dump it on their head. So like, well, let's see, like, what is it that you're looking for? And just like how you go through and ask the questions and everything is really impressive. And ultimately the whole thing is genuine connection, and people know that you care.
From there, you can invite them to jump on a call and talk further. And you don't want to book a bunch of calls with people that aren't a good fit. This is going to improve the show up rate. It's going to improve your enrollment rate. And it's really going to keep you from having calls that people are like, oh, like, what's this all about? Or like try to get you to like sell them or like convince them or whatever like that. That just doesn't feel good. And having process it really allows this system and creates this consistency and overall enrollment.
Yeah. And so I love this because I see a lot of people struggle with show up rates. Like, oh, I can book calls, but nobody shows up to them. That is actually not really a thing with us.
Yeah.
Like, I'd actually say not a thing. I will be that bold. Very, very rarely do we not have any show ups. And I genuinely believe, because it's part of this process and the strategic questions that you ask, that it's going to improve your show up. It's going to improve your enrollment rate overall.
Yeah. If they go through this process, they're most likely showing up.
Absolutely.
Right. So from here, you get to choose. Do you want dopamine hits or do you want clients? Or do you want to get into people's world and see how you can generally help them like the experts you are?
So let's talk about Jonathan. I freaking love him. He came into our world. He was already doing pretty good, right? He's had high income months, great engagement. Literally, he has this aura of sunshine and no problem attracting people into his world.
Yeah. So the thing is he didn't have this process down at all. Like he would basically, somebody would engage on his stuff and he would just DM his offer. It's like DM offer, DM offer, DM offer. And so he wasn't qualifying to see if people are a good fit. He wasn't like getting the permission to message them. He wasn't doing any of that. It was just DM offer, DM offer, DM offer. And some people took him up on the offer just because he created amazing content. He had tons of value. He was creating a ton of rapport. And as soon as we were able to switch into this process, he got 10 clients now into his group program, 3 one-on-one levels. So that's like $40,000 worth of signed clients, maybe $50,000 in signed clients, when he was averaging $10,000 to $20,000 before that, which that was pretty good of an increase.
Considering the span of about 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah. So I will say in authenticity, it was not collected, but that's what he was able to sign and he filled his program.
Yep.
So great job, Jonathan. Here's to many, many more launches. I'm so excited for what you're creating and what you're up to in the world. All right. Number 3, how to get your potential clients to sell themselves rather than you selling them. Would that be valuable for you if we could show you how you can get people to sell themselves so that you don't have to be all pushy and weird and sell them? Let's dive into it, because I know that you don't want to feel icky. I know that you don't want to feel pushy. It's not who you are at a soul level. And so ultimately at the same time, like, you want your prospects to feel empowered. You want people to feel good about their investment. There's nothing worse than buyer's remorse. It sets the whole energy up for the results of your client there's more obstacles to overcome, right? So when you do this correctly through the enrollment process, it just feels really empowered for everyone, hence empowered enrollment system.
All right, so let's break this down. All right, ask a question to help them discover the gap. So it's really about asking questions that's going to help them, what's the vision? Where are you at now? What's in the way of the vision? Like help them see the gap of where they are and where they want to be, and then really help them get clear on what's in the way.
So important piece here is you're not telling them what the gaps are. They're discovering and setting the gaps out for themselves.
Yep. And then really just, it's like holding the space and like listening. You're in the worst mistake that you can make in this process is coaching and telling and mentoring or giving any information. You're not about solving this problem. You're just holding the space.
And I know your coaches like, that's what I'm wired to do though. And this is where you have that self-control. Like, okay, I'm going to hold the space with a simple, like, oh, I got it, or, oh, I understand. And then recreate what it is that they said so that they feel heard and understood.
And it's really guiding them at the end of the call and letting them ask about your offer and the investment. And so it's like,
all right, hold on real quick before we say, we're about to drop something to you that is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions, literally millions. I am not exaggerating. This one sentence.
Yes. And I use it all the time. And it's so, where would you like to go from here? And then they get to choose the path, right? Well, tell me how much it is. I don't like where you tell me where to go. And then they're like wanting you to guide them. And then that is, it's you're becoming the guide and not the salesperson. And you guys are on the same side of the table, essentially.
Every sales training tells you, like, at the end of the call, you need to remain in control and tell them what to do and all of these things. We're actually going to break all of that. You let them be the guide at the end of the call, or let them guide the end of the call, right? You are holding space, and you do by giving conscious leadership here, by giving them the control of where would you like to go from here. It actually holds your position as a leader.
It's good.
Right. And that's why you're breaking all those barriers. You break that, the awkward, the icky, the pushy, any of that stuff, because you're allowing them to guide the end of the call instead of trying to pitch them your offer and why it's going to be so good for them. Go make millions. Now, knowing these 3 keys that we just shared with you have a choice. Coffee chats that feel weird, awkward, pushy. How do you create great to meet you?
How do you transition that?
or set up qualified calls to only people who are your ideal client and let people sell themselves.
So Tig is a badass leadership coach who specializes in travel.
Been with us for a while.
Yeah, it's amazing. And when he first came to us, he was doing about 3K a month. And I remember we taught him this process. It was like in the first week or so of him coming in, he took it and he booked 5 calls and he enrolled all of them into a 3K program each. So there's from $3,000 a month to $15,000 in 2 weeks. So that was freaking amazing.
That's how powerful this frame is. With that, here's your invitation. We've shared with you how to take strangers from cold to enrolled, how to take your content and book calls, and how to have your potential clients sell themselves on these calls. So with that, we're going to leave it in your hands now. You can go back to the way things were and hope things will change, or we can go deeper with this with you and you can get the support setting this all up for you. So if you're the latter, let's jump on a call and see if it's a good fit. And so you'll see a calendar below and just pick a time, fill out your information, answers a couple questions, and we will talk to you soon.